Infinitives. Today I want to talk about infinitives, what they are, and how to use them correctly. Infinitives look like verbs, but they aren't. They're verbals. What does that mean? That means that they are verbs acting like other parts of speech. In this case, like nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. So an infinitive acts like a noun, or it can act like an adjective, or it can act like an adverb, but it never acts like a verb. The focus on this video will be on infinitives acting like nouns. There are two ways that infinitives act like nouns. They act like a noun as a direct object or the subject of the sentence. You may want to know what a direct object is. The direct object is the other noun in the sentence that answers the question who, what, or where. So in this case, it's going to look like a verb plus an infinitive. So let's look at these following sentences. Josh likes to spend time in the countryside. Like plus infinitive. He wants to move to the country. Want plus infinitive. Josh plans to buy a big house in the forest. Plan plus infinitive. You will remember that the infinitive is the to plus the base verb. Let's take this a little step further. Let's look at the pronunciation. So if you take the verb like plus to plus the base verb, pronunciation of the infinitive to plus the base verb is going to connect with the one before like. So like plus to becomes likes to. So he likes to, they like to, we like to. It's linked. And then the same would be with if your verb was plan, for example. He plans to, we plan to, they plan to. So let's try pronouncing those sentences again. Josh likes to spend time in the countryside. Likes to, likes to. He wants to move to the country. Wants to, wants to. Josh plans to buy a house in the forest. Plans to, plans to. So let's go back to the direct objects again. Josh likes to spend time in the countryside. Likes to do what? Spend time. Spend, to spend is the direct object. Josh, he wants to move to the countryside. Wants to do what? He wants to move. So to move, he wants to do what? He wants to move. To move is the direct object. Josh plans to buy a house in the forest. Plans to buy a big house in the forest. Plans what? He plans to buy. So to buy is the direct object. Let's look at a couple more example sentences of direct objects. Remember, these infinitives are acting like a noun, like a direct object, which answers the question who, what, or where. In this case, Amy likes to spend time at the beach. Amy likes to what? She likes to spend time. To spend time is the direct object. She wants to go on a beach holiday. She wants to. She wants to go where? She wants to go what? She wants to do what? She wants to go on a beach holiday. To go is the direct object. Amy plans to buy a plane ticket today. She plans to do what? She plans to buy. To buy is the direct object. Okay, let's look at the pronunciation again. In this case, we're looking at the verb want and the infinitive to something. And you have to link them. So the want and the to become one. So Amy, she wants to. They wanna, we wanna. So you know when there's an S, third person, she wants to, you have to put the S in there. But when there's no third person, there's no S. So we wanna, they wanna. So let's listen to these sentences and their pronunciation again. Amy likes to spend time at the beach. Likes to, like plus to spend. Amy likes to spend time at the beach. Likes to, like plus to spend. She wants to go on a beach holiday. She wants to. Wants to what? To go on a beach holiday. Amy plans to buy a plane ticket today. Amy plans to what? To buy. To buy is the direct object. So tell me, were those infinitives acting like the direct object or the subject of the sentence? Can you guess? Right, it was the direct object. That is, it was the verb plus the infinitive, to plus base verb. So that was easy because you heard me use the direct object in the sentences before. Of course, there is a list of certain verbs that infinitives will follow. They don't follow every possible verb. There is a list, and so you do have to memorize them. For example, here are some of the verbs that are more common. Agree, ask, begin, hope, plan, choose, continue, decide, expect, like, love, hate, prefer, want, promise, wish, learn, and need. These are the first verbs, and then the infinitive will follow these verbs. There are many, many more verbs on this list, but this is a good starting point for you. Here are some example sentences using those verbs from the list. Remember, there are verbs that are followed by infinitives. So, number 1, I agree to help you with your homework. I agree to help you with your homework. I promise to explain everything clearly. I promise to explain everything clearly. I prefer to study at the library where it is quiet. I prefer to study. Don't forget the pronunciation of ta. I prefer to study at the library where it's quiet. Now let's look at when the infinitive acts like the subject of a sentence. An infinitive can start a sentence like a noun does when it's the subject of a sentence. Let's look at a noun phrase and compare it to the infinitive phrase. So the noun phrase, Italy is fun to travel. Italy is the noun and the subject of the sentence. In the infinitive phrase, to travel to Italy is fun. To travel is the subject, and here it's just a base infinitive, to travel. The subject of a sentence. So here we're looking at the sentence, to travel to Italy is fun. And you see that there's only the infinitive. It's not a verb plus infinitive because the infinitive to travel is the subject of the sentence. To travel to Italy is fun. However, using the infinitive at the beginning of the sentence as a subject is a little bit too formal in English. We don't like it that much. In fact, we prefer to start the sentence with it instead. It is fun to travel to Italy is a better, more common sentence than to travel to Italy is fun, which is too formal. So a native English speaker is always going to prefer to use it. Here's another example of the subject of a sentence. The sentence is, to go to the party would be fun. To go is, of course, the subject of the sentence, the infinitive, to go to the party. And it's, again, a little too formal in English. We prefer to start the sentence using it instead. It would be fun to go to a party is a more common sentence. A native English speaker would choose to say it would be fun to go to a party rather than use the infinitive as the subject of a sentence. The form. Well, the good news is it never changes. The infinitive never changes form. It's always to plus a base verb. So you cannot add s or es or ed or ing. What about the negative? Well, the negative is formed by adding not before the infinitive. Here's an example sentence. He tried not to be late. So it's the verb try, and then you put not before the infinitive. If your sentence has more infinitives in it, you don't repeat the two. For example, she plans to study, clean her room, and go to bed early. You cannot say she plans to study, to clean her room, and to go to bed early. You can't use two. You only use it with the first verb infinitive combination. In summary, an infinitive acting as a noun can be the direct object after certain verbs, so you remember the list, or it can be the subject of the sentence. And you will also remember that it's not that common to use it as a subject because it tends to be too formal, and a native English speaker will prefer to use it plus the verb instead to communicate the same idea. Pop quiz. How about a little practice? How is the infinitive being used in this sentence? They like to eat hamburgers. Like-ta. They like to eat hamburgers. Is this the direct object, or is this infinitive acting as the sentence subject of a sentence? Did you guess correctly? Is the infinitive being used in this sentence as a direct object? Good job. Pop quiz. How is the infinitive being used in this sentence? To run in the morning feels good. Is it being the direct object or the subject of the sentence? Did you guess correctly? Did you guess that it is the subject of the sentence? Pop quiz. Tell me, which sentence is better or more common? A, to run in the morning feels good, or B, it feels good to run in the morning? Yes, you guessed correctly. B, it feels good to run in the morning. It is the more common sentence that begins with it. But wait, there's more. Certain verbs are followed by the object and then the infinitive. So it will look like a verb, then the object, and then the infinitive. The object is usually like him or her or them. Now here's an example sentence. I invited them to come to the party. I invited them to come to the party. Invited is the verb, them is the object, to come is the infinitive. So here is another example of a verb plus the object and then the infinitive that follows that object. For example, I told him not to drink and drive. Not to drink and drive. I told him, told is the verb, him is the object, and to drink and drive is the second verb, which is the infinitive. Here's another sample sentence. I asked her to go to the movies with me. Asked is the verb, her is the object, and to go is the infinitive. So there are certain verbs, of course, that will take an object and the infinitive. So you will have your verb and then the object and then the infinitive, such as advise someone or advise something, allow, ask, cause, convince, choose, encourage, expect, force, get, help, hire, invite, pay, order, remind, teach, or need. They all can take someone, something, or somewhere. If you like this kind of video, you can check out other videos like it. For example, the next video I will produce will be Infinitives and Gerunds. How can you tell the difference between the two? Sometimes you can use both and have the same meaning, and sometimes you can use both, but they'll have very different meanings. So, how do you know which one to use? So if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more videos of this kind, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching a video by Melissa Carroll.